everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be the day that I share my story, my experience with dating a narcissist. I cannot tell you guys how many times I've recorded this video. I think this is maybe the fourth or the fifth time that I recorded it. I wanted to make sure that the information I put out would be information that will be helpful and not so much trying to put out gossip or share too much of my personal life. But I thought it was important to share this information because often I talk about relationships and dating on this channel. And so I thought it was important to share this information because I think a lot of older women are where I'm at. And what I mean by that is it's a lot of single older women out there that haven't dated in a while. And maybe you have met someone that you think that would be a great idea to date. And when you haven't dated in a while, I think sometimes we overlook things that we shouldn't. Or maybe not overlook things, but we're just not as, I guess I should say, aware of all the different situations that are out there. And for me, I can't think of a time that I've ever dated a person that is a narcissist. So this was a totally different experience for me, one that I want to share here with you. So if you're interested, keep watching. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It is today. Today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday evening, and I'm going to briefly share with you guys, I guess, the part one of my story. I want to share this to bring awareness, just like I do with other things that I feel that we should be aware of in this world, dealing with our lives. We're out here trying to live our best lives, and there are people out here, guys, with mental disorders. There are people out here that are just evil. There are people out here that self-hate, that self-destruct, and you can get entangled with those people and have a whole mess in your life. So I want to share my story. I'm going to be open. I'm a little vulnerable sharing this here on this platform, but I think it's really needed. So jumping into it really quick, I dated a guy for almost 10 months. It's 11 months basically now because I've been away from him for almost a month now. But I met this guy last year in the middle of the pandemic as a client coming into my place of business. And he, pursued me a little bit, left a couple business cards. I totally just ignored him at first. And then he left another one with a little smiley and a little comment on the back. So I decided to go ahead, after a brief conversation that we had to clear up something. I decided to give him a call. I did. He seemed pleasant enough, and we planned on having a date. We did. We went to the riverfront here in Memphis. He brought a blanket, and we sat for maybe 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, watching the sunset on the river. It was beautiful. It was a very simple date, but it was very nice. It was kind of romantic, and we just talked. And during that time, I found out that his mom had passed away nearly 4 months prior to that date. And I was a little, empathetic toward him, and I felt like he could use a friend. So I decided that night that I could be that friend. And so he asked me out on a second date, probably about a week or so later, maybe 2 weeks. We went to his house because he said he wanted to show me another body of water in Memphis. He lives on a lake. And so I went up to his home. We sat out on the dock. That was the complete date. We sat out on the dock and watched the pelicans on the water, sunset, just having conversation. He's sharing more about his mom and his childhood, and we became pretty, close. We started talking every day and started dating, which led into us deciding to exclusively date and start a relationship. So not gonna share all of the things we did. Of course, it was, just like a regular relationship. You go out on dates, you go come over for dinner. He's a chef. He loves to cook. He used to cook for me all the time, almost every weekend, because it got to a point where we had a routine where I would come over every weekend and he'd cook on Friday nights. Friday nights was just exclusive night for pizza. He'd make homemade pizza. He would make Sunday dinners. We grill out, just different things. We just had a really nice relationship. I started to travel with him because he's an amateur bowler, and he invited me to travel with him to some of the locations where he would be participating in a tournament. So I started traveling with him because I love to travel, and it got me opportunity to go out a little bit out west, places that I hadn't been. He flew me out to Vegas, which I have a video here on the channel about that trip. He took care of everything, all the accommodations, the flights, everything. He was, in my eyes, the perfect gentleman. I did not see with my naked eye any red flags that would tell me that this person had any type of disorder, that this person could potentially be dangerous, that this person was self-indulgent, self-absorbed, and none of that. I didn't see it with the naked eye, and I'm saying that for a purpose, because I remember the first time that I entered into his home, which he has been recently separated from his wife, well, maybe like 2 years she had been gone, but the house was exactly like it was when she was there. And I just felt a little bit uncomfortable. You see things and you know that the person that he was married to was there. So I just never really wanted to go in at first, but I finally went in. But I remember being very uncomfortable the first time I went in. I even felt a presence. I felt chill bumps on me. Little did I know that that was my intuition pre-warning me. Pre-warning me, guys. Now I'm going to tell you, one of the things I've learned throughout this whole ordeal is that you never underestimate your intuition. Any type of sign, anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, anything make you question what you're doing, pay attention to that. That is your intuition saying, hey, take a step back and look. And I remember that so clearly now because I've replayed this whole dating scenario over and over in my head. This is my story, and I feel I have a right to share it because I feel that it was something that took me by surprise. It blindsided me, and guys, this was something that I never thought I'd experience in my lifetime. But during the time of us dating, which with a person that is a narcissist, there's a phase called love bombing. And in that phase is where they want to do everything to try to get you to be devoted to them, to care about them, to think that they're just amazing. That's the whole idea. So everything they do is going to be geared toward showering you with affection and love and attention and everything that women want in a relationship. And that is so amazing to me because the time, the time he put into it, the dedication he put into trying to be that person that he thought I would want is amazing because he was devoted to calling me like clockwork, spending time with me several nights throughout the week. We spent time together. Nothing ever to question to say that this person would possibly have someone else or be lying or any of that. He, to me, was the perfect gentleman. I did, however, have a red flag because I was aware that he had no friends. And I'm not used to having men friends in my life that don't have any male friends, like zero. The only person that he interacted with outside of colleagues, like his work, was his son. And I thought that was kind of crazy when he first told me he had 2 girlfriends that were friends of his that lived in his hometown, which is away from Memphis, more than 9-10 hours away. And he would talk to them on the phone. One of them he fell out with, and so he stopped talking to her, which someone he told me was disliking my videos on my channel. Not going to name any names, but he told me that she was doing that, which should have been a red flag for me for him to tell me that. But I was thinking, okay, maybe she would be doing that because he had cut all ties with her. The other friend he has was like a younger woman, maybe 10 years, 11 years younger than him, and someone he talked to pretty much every day. She was always calling, and which was fine with me. I had no problem with that. I have male friends. I've never been a jealous type, or I just don't do that. But one particular evening I was over, which now I look at and say, this was a red flag. And I had come over on a day that I typically wouldn't be there. So she called while we were eating, and he said, I'm here with Lydia. And she said, what is she doing over there? She's not supposed to be over here that night. And I looked, and I was like a little surprised by that, for her to say that. And I was expecting him to correct her. And he said nothing. So I got up from the table and I walked away, and I was just like, no, let me just leave them and let them handle that. And so he came and followed me. He got off the phone with her, came, and I said, I don't understand why you didn't say anything. He said, no, because she realized when she said it that it was wrong. She said it was like she was a deer with her eyes caught in the headlights. But I still feel in that situation he should have said, hey, that's not appropriate to say. This is my girl, don't say things like that. But he did not. So I let that go. Which, looking back now, I'm thinking, that was a red flag. Well, fast forward. 8 months in, everything was beautiful in my opinion, except for the fact that he stayed pretty moody, which I associated with him grieving because, as I stated earlier, he had lost his mom 4 months prior to us meeting, which to me, I used to wonder why he never seemed to really grieve. But I admitted to myself that grieving is different for everybody. So when he would get very moody, and his mood swings would be silence, withdrawal, almost a darkness, didn't want to talk, shortness, just out of nowhere. We could have been talking nicely, having a good conversation, and 2 hours later he would bottom out, didn't want to talk, would just be silent, and I will be trying to comfort him thinking, okay, he's grieving, so I'm trying to, it's going to be okay. I'm caressing his back or saying, it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. You just have to keep going. Your mom's in a better place. I'm saying all the things that people normally would say when they feel someone is grieving. Little did I know that really didn't have anything to do with that. But that was something that happened at least once a week, I would say on average. And it got to the point where I started being a little leery about it, like, this person is really pretty moody. So we're going to fast forward to the Vegas trip. Is when I really saw who he was, a side of him that I really didn't like. And that was because he had went out there with plans to qualify. Now, mind you, this particular tournament was paying about $25,000. And normally he would place in a tournament where he would win some money, but this particular tournament he did not place, and he kept trying day after day to qualify, because you could qualify different days. Now, I didn't fly out with him. I flew out a day later, so I left a day earlier. We were on different flights. So the night before I was to leave, we had dinner. He had been a little quiet, but as the night went on, he got more quiet, and to the point where he just totally didn't want to be bothered. He was short. He turned his back to me when we went to bed that night. He didn't want to talk. So I left him alone. I said maybe he needs to just kind of deal with this because he's disappointed in himself for not qualifying in the tournament. The next morning, when I was about to leave, I had to ride the shuttle to the airport out in Vegas. And we were sitting outside waiting on the shuttle, and I said, why are you so quiet? I'm asking him, I said, you've been quiet all night. Why are you so quiet? He said, that's because I have nothing to say. Point blank, period. That's the way he responded. He did not say anything else. He did not say, have a nice flight. He did not say, I'll see you when I get back. He did not give me a hug. He did not do anything. Zero. But tell me that he did not have anything to say. I flew back scratching my head thinking, what is going on? And that was the beginning. So after that, I started noticing that shift in him. He then started complaining about things. He might not have liked something I had, I would wear, I wear false eyelashes occasionally. He told me he did not like them. And he felt that if you're dating somebody or you're with somebody, if you don't like something, you shouldn't wear it. He would always complain that he was not satisfied with something, or he wasn't happy, or it was always a complaint. It was always something that he didn't like that I do. And I was just like, I said to myself, I'm not doing anything to this person for them to come at me like they're not happy about this or happy about that or complaining about this, or, it's always like it was trying to start some disagreement with me. And I noticed that he had a hard time accepting things about himself. Now, mind you, he's in his 50s. And so in your 50s, you're going to feel aches and pains and things like that. And when his body would give out in certain areas, he would be just frustrated. I can't believe it. I can't believe my back is hurting. I work out. I do this. I do that. And I would be like, hey, you're 50. You know what I'm saying? You're over 50. And as you age, your body is going to tell you that, because your body is not going to stay the same. As you get older, and this even as younger people, your body is every day is deteriorating. That's just what it is. You do things to try to keep it as healthy as possible, but your body is still deteriorating. You're going back the other way. And so you just have to eat as healthy as you can. Make sure you stay fit and, work out or exercise. Do something to keep your body as fit as possible. But you're going to feel aches and pains after 50. Just what it is. Your knees, your legs, your back, something's going to hurt you. And he would be livid to feel anything and scolding himself because he was hurting. And I used to look at him like, it's going to be all right, but I noticed that he felt that he had to be in a state of perfection all of the time. And it became a complaint about something. He was either talking about people, putting people down, whether it was, family members or just people he would see in the streets. He got upset once because a girl that he viewed that was not attractive was showing him some attention. She liked him, and he felt offended because she didn't look good enough. And I was like, I'm so surprised at you like this. I'm like, I didn't think that you'd be a guy that would be offended because someone likes you. If you had seen the way she looked, well, I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't matter to me if I find someone attractive or not. If a guy likes me, that's just flattery. That doesn't mean I have to return the feeling, but I don't get offended if somebody that I don't view as physically attractive find me attractive. But it was just an insult to him that he felt that she should not be looking at him in some way. And so it just became a assault of words at times, and I just got to the point where I just didn't like it. But we did get to a point where we had a blow up, and he decided that he wanted to talk down to me, and I'm not going to even go into what the argument was, but he used things like I'm blonde, dizzy, wasn't acting intelligent, just verbally thinking he was going to say things to me like that, and I was going to be okay with that. The one thing he did not know, and I had to tell him, I said, I care about you. I have a lot of love for you, but who I love more than you is me. I remember telling him that one night in my living room, because one thing I don't accept is disrespect from anyone. And I don't care how much I care about you. If you disrespect me, you have to exit. If you cannot own your disrespect and apologize and be respectful, you have to go from my life. And it became a pattern of, up one day, down the next, up one day, down the next, up one day, want to degrade the next. So the second time that it happened, I was just done with it. And I told him, I actually had to record him. I didn't have to, but I recorded him because I wanted evidence that of the things that he was saying. He was yelling. He was telling me what he don't like, clapping his hands when he was telling me, like, you gonna do what I say. And I'm thinking, wow, so this is a person who thinks that he's gonna be able to control me. So you did all of that love bombing, and you thought that you was gonna get me to a point where I was submissive enough that I would allow you to be able to control me and handle me in a certain way, and I would still love you and give to you. That's not the way I do things, because I believe in a relationship as a partnership, and we have to have mutual respect for one another. And we own our stuff, and when we're disrespectful or if we do something, we need to come back and own that. And I just wasn't willing to stay in a relationship where I felt that I was being disrespected, devalued, and no, it's just not gonna happen. So I'm telling you women this because sometimes, you may meet someone and there's signs, and I've done a lot of research since then. If a person comes off a little bit too strong in the beginning, or they're overly aggressive about pursuing you and rushing into something, and which he did. And I remember him saying something to me in the beginning. He told me that when he dates, he can often, well, he didn't say dates. He said when he first meets someone, he can often come off as a tsunami. And you guys know tsunami is like an earthquake in a big body of water like the ocean. And when the tsunami rolls into shore, it comes in very quietly and slowly. But once it gets in, it just erupts. And sometimes I feel like that's what it was. It was just like he pursued me very slowly and very romantically, and then once he felt that he had me, he rushed in to just try to take over. And I had questioned him once about his wife because he was married for quite a long time. It was one of the reasons why I felt like I could date him. He was married for almost 30 years. And so I felt like, he would be a good candidate. He was a family man, had been in a long relationship. So I didn't feel that he would be a person that would have issues like that. But his wife left him 4 times within that relationship. And it makes you wonder what happened to make a person go and come back, go and come back, go and come back. But from researching narcissistic relationships, oftentimes, especially long-term relationships, people just in love, they want to give them a chance. So they'll come back and try to, what they call hoover, which is when they try to love you back, get you back, entangling them. They'll say all the things, do all the things to try to get you to come back so that they can start devaluing you again. And oftentimes, if you're not able to do the things that they want you to do, or you're not giving them what they need to make them feel important and special, like they're just it, they will actually discard you. But in my case, I got rid of him first because I was not willing to allow myself to be mistreated. But it was a lot for me to accept in the beginning because I was thinking, how could these be the same people? It felt like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Because even the little clips that you guys might hear him in the background of my videos or catch a snippet of his face in one of my videos, which I took the birthday video down. All the other ones I left up my travel videos because I'm making money off those videos. But the birthday video, I actually took that video down because it's not a depiction of where I am. So I didn't even want to keep that up. Just looking at him, you would have never thought that that was his person. So in the next video, I'm going to give you a little information on what to look for and the process of how narcissists tend to treat women that they date, so that you can be a little bit of aware, because like I said, it took me by surprise. I am perfectly fine. I want y'all to know that. I am thankful for my intuition. I'm thankful for the gift of being an empath, to be able to feel certain things when things are not right, to feel even that undertone of darkness that he used to carry, and start to just pay attention to his attitude, his behaviors, and the fact that he was becoming more and more aggressive and more controlling, which y'all know, y'all see my personality. I'm not one to be controlled. So I just wanted to start the conversation. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this. Some people are ashamed to share their story or to talk about it. Some people are fearful to talk about it. There's different types of narcissists. The one that I dealt with is a covert narcissist, which in the next video I'll give you information on different narcissists and what they mean and their behaviors. But this is just an overview. This is my story, which I feel I have a right to tell because it's something that I experienced. And I want the ladies that follow me, that I love, to be aware when you're out here dating, especially if you're older and you're just a little bit more relaxed, laid back like I am. I'm just a real laid back, simple person. I don't require a lot. I don't ask a lot. And I think a lot of times people think when you're like that, that you're easy and that, you know, you're going to be easy to manipulate, which that's a big thing about a narcissist. They try to manipulate you in the relationship. And I'm just a little bit too smart for that. But I thank God. I'm not going to take the credit myself. I thank God for allowing me to have this intuition and to know when to move on and to know that I deserve better than that. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for where I'm at. So we're going to talk again in part 2, which will delve more into narcissistic behavior. I wanted to just tell my story in this part 1 and get you some information there, and we can talk about it then. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love. Be safe out there.